Oh, hello there, Internet. Are you guys excited? It's not quite late night, but it's almost late night. I've got a slight issue here with the 120. 120 gallons. Love this aquarium. Having a great time with it. I got to trim the Hygrophila PinnatifidaTrimming. Is it weird that I say Hygrophila PinnatifidaTrimming? Most people just say Hygro PinnatifidaTrimming. Or just PinnatifidaTrimming, right? Fantastic plants growing fabulously in here. The unfortunate downside of fabulous growth means I gotta trim it. But the upside of that is that I get to show you guys how to trim it and what's kind of going on with it. Try to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown here on what is going on with it and how I'm going to continue to propagate it, because we're gonna make a little change with this plant. It's fully adapted now. It's been in here for 4 or 5 months, something like that. Plenty of time for it to become fully adapted, but these upright portions that are growing up are typically the immersed grown parts grown up into the air, and they've just kind of continued to do their same growing pattern. They've finally grown to a point where I got to trim them because they're too tall, but the cool part is all the side offshoots have happened now, and I want to continue to propagate all the side offshoots, because that's how you end up with that really cool look of it just growing all over the rocks and kind of doing what it's doing. And most of everything that has kind of sprouted and grown into this aquarium will stay pretty short. It will send some shoots up into the air again, but we can just trim them the exact same way that we're going to trim these and continue to propagate upward and onward. Now, talking about those side shoots are going to be a little bit of a problem because we have to trim those too, because they will just keep going and climbing all over stuff and popping into the substrate and just mixing up the aquascape, which isn't that difficult. It's just that's the time-consuming portion. Trimming the upright portions are quite easy. It's just like trimming a little tree. You just cut it down at the base. Very simple and very straightforward. Now, all the little side runners that are running all over the place, that's where it starts to get a little bit confusing, because you got to find one, you know, kind of pull it out, see where it's growing, see what's happening, and kind of give yourself a little time to do some looky-loo and kind of see what's happening in there to make sure that you don't just yank a big long thing out and it's the wrong part, or you end up leaving something in there that's growing in and going to end up messing with a bunch of other plants. We have to go through, and right down here at the node where they split off, this is where they normally send out runners. So as long as you cut right above that, the rest of the plant down here will stay alive. So you can see now we just kind of basically cut the top off of it, like just cutting down like a little tree. That's kind of what these are like. They're like little trees, and we have all these runners going out down low. I'm trying to think of what tree that is. My mind wanted to say cypress, but that doesn't seem right. Alright, so these tops can actually be replanted, and they will grow. And just stick them into the substrate, and they'll root and grow, which we're not going to do in this case, because I actually have plans for this Pinnatifida in a different tank. So all these trimmings are going to go into a different aquarium.
and then, you know, then a later date. And of course, I'll make a video of that. Is it a secret? I don't know. Probably. Some kind of secret video. Secret tank. My life has been secrets lately. As you guys know, I don't like to keep secrets. I like to make videos about answering questions. So, alright. I kind of let this go for a while, so I could have done this like a couple weeks ago and it still wouldn't, you know, would have had plenty to cut. And there we go. Okay, so you can see that this is all attached together. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim this one out, but I'm going to leave the rest. So it's all tied together, you see, but it's sitting at a really good height. I want to leave it there, and I've got some accent plants that I'm going to add to this later. So it's going to make more sense at a later date. But like I said, you want to make sure, see how this little runner's coming out the side over here? So we're just going to trim the top. I'm going to leave that there. And then voila.
Some minor deficiencies going on with some of the upright grown Pinnatifida, which is pretty typical. Now, the easy way around that for me, I just have to up my easy green dosing schedule, which I've got a lot of varieties of plants in here that are actually converting quite well. I'm pretty happy, but you know, the Pinnatifida, the Macandra, and some of the Arcuata and things are kind of a little deficient, and so I did a water test earlier and realized that my parts per million on nitrates, which is one of the main ways that I check to make sure that I have enough fertilizer, is a little bit low. So I'm going to increase my dosing, and part of that is I made some subtle changes to the filtration, and I probably have a little more water in here than I was running before. I think before I was at about 140 gallons. Now I'm probably closer to like 165 because I've pretty much completely filled the sump. I'm running it a little bit differently than I was before. So with this specific tank, I was at like 4 pumps every third day. So now I'm gonna go up to 7 pumps every third day. It does seem like kind of a drastic change, but realistically not that bad because we have so much plant matter in here and stuff. It'll just probably increase growth a little bit. Now, when you do change your fertilizers, I wanna remind people, always remember to double check your light cycle and your light intensity. If you're gonna increase fertilizer, bump up the lights a little bit. So I took the 2 Fluval 3.0s that I have on here. They run at about 70% is kind of where I had them at. So I'm gonna bring that up to about 85%, and it'll probably just add a little more vibrance, a little more greenery, and allow the plants to uptake that fertilizer a lot better than it was previously. Let's go ahead and get our before shots and our during shots.